Hey guys, Haluc9 here, and this is my first video since the release of the highly anticipated Pokemon X and Y. I personally got Pokemon Y, and within about 2 days, I had beaten the champion. So I know, quite a bit about this game, and so I'm doing a top 10 list of my favorite Pokemon from this generation. So far, I don't know if they're going to release more, because they only released like 70, so I don't know. There's not a lot to choose from, but in general, the quality of the Pokemon are very good. So I'm going to count down from number 10. So number 10 on my list is Pangoro, the dark and fighting type panda. Yes, we finally got a true panda Pokemon because Spinda didn't really count. And I think a lot of people are happy about it, but I think what I really like about Pangoro is that unlike Scrafty from Generation 5, he actually captures the dark/fighting look. He looks like he's just going to beat you up, but he also looks like he's kind of rough and that he's like a dark type. Scrafty looks like a fighting type, but I think a lot of us used a psychic type move on it expecting it to be super effective, and we're surprised when this thing was a dark type, because it really doesn't look too much like a dark type. So Pangoro I really do like. I think his design is basic, and he's definitely not my favorite on this list, but overall, I think it's a good addition to the Generation 6 Pokemon. So yeah, Pangoro is my number 10 choice. Number 9 on my list is Haluc. Now, Haluc is a fighting and flying type, which is really a big deal because we've never had one before. A lot of people were looking for the far-fetched, hoped evolution to be a flying and fighting type. That didn't happen, unfortunately. But you know what? Haluc is pretty cool, too. Its design, it's pretty good. It doesn't evolve, which is kind of a negative, but I still think it's a pretty solid Pokemon. Its real flaw, though, which I think a lot of people know, is why it's not used in battle too much, is because it has like a boatload of weaknesses. It's got Psychic, Fairy, Ice, Flying, not Rock. Rock's the only one that got neutralized, but Flying. I said Flying. Electric, that was it. And it's just, that really serves as a major issue. And you're going to see with my next entry that's another problem that happens again with the new typing. So, Haluc is a pretty solid thing, and I like that it exists, but, I wouldn't use it in battle, probably. So, number 8 on my list is Aurorus. Now, personally, when I chose my fossil Pokemon, I did choose Aurora. And I know while a lot of people chose Tyrant because Dragon Dinosaur is pretty cool, I like the idea of a rock and ice type Brontosaurus. So, Aurorus is pretty cool. I have one on my team, and it can prove to be a useful Pokemon. Its real main flaw, like Haluc, is that it has too many weaknesses. It has a weakness to water, it has a 4 times weakness to fighting, a 4 times weakness to steel. Like, just not good. So, this thing can't really take a hit very well. The good part is, its speed is decent, so you can get in an attack there, and a strong attack, because its special attack is pretty high. So if you want to, throw it out, get an Ice Beam in or something, you'll be fine. You can at least beat one Pokemon, but the thing is, it won't last a couple turns because it's just got so many weaknesses. So Aurorus, in general, I like the design. I think it's a great Pokemon. But it's just got that problem that Haluc had, which was getting hit by super effective attacks. So number 8 is Aurorus. Number 7 is Revenant. Revenant is a really cool Pokemon, and the reason I like it especially is because it's our first ever grass and ghost type Pokemon. If you don't count the Lawnmower Rotom in Generation 5, then this is definitely the first grass and ghost type Pokemon, along with Gourgeist, who personally I don't like as much because I think it takes away from Trevenant. I wish the champion, spoilers a little, had a Trevenant as opposed to a Gourgeist, because Trevenant is just so much cooler. So why do I like Trevenant? Well, I think its design is pretty cool. It's like a walking, undead tree, and it has a spirit inside of it, and it's really cool. And it reminds me, in fact, of the trees from the Luigi's Mansion course in Mario Kart DS. Kind of weird reference, but it does. They were crawling around with their roots. It's a really cool Pokemon, and I love its pre-evolution as well, which is Phantump. It's a little floating little ghost thing, and it's just got the horns and it's got the little spirit inside of it, and I like it a lot. And I think it's really fitting for it to evolve into this tree that's undead. So yeah, Revenant's really cool. In fact, I'm trying to get one on my team right now because I just want to see what it can do. I don't know its stats at all, so it could kind of be a letdown in terms of that. But for now, I want to just get it on my team so I can use it a bit, see what it's like. Number 6 spot on my list is Aegislash. Now, when I first saw Honedge, I thought it was a pretty cool Pokemon. Then I saw Doublade, and I was kind of disappointed because it was a boring evolution for me. And then, when I was battling the Steel Elite Four member, Aegislash, I didn't even know that it existed until I saw that thing. And it's got like 2 different forms, and it's really cool. I think it's a really cool Pokemon because it's got the shield, and it's got the swords, and I think that it's pretty cool. I've never really used it before, but I think that it looks really great. It looks like it would be really strong in terms of attack and defense as well, and it looks like it would be a monster in terms of speed. So Aegislash is pretty cool, and it's, again, in the line of our first ever Ghost and Steel type Pokemon. So that's pretty cool. That's about all I know with Aegislash. I've never used it. I've never seen it in battle besides that Elite Four battle. So I do definitely like it, and I think it's worthy to be on my top 10 list. Taking the number 5 spot on my list is Tyrantrum, the other option of the 2 fossil Pokemon. Well, the evolved form of that option. I've never used Tyrantrum. I have a Tyrantrum in trade, and I plan on eventually getting that to evolve into a Tyrantrum. But for now, I don't really know too much about it. It's a Dragon and Rock type, which is a first for Pokemon, which is really cool. And I know that when it was announced with Aurorus, that a lot of people just were like immediately going towards Tyrantrum, and it's very popular. So maybe the reason it's above Aurorus is because I don't know of any major flaws yet, mainly because I don't know that much about it. But I think that it looks like it'll have maybe a high attack. It looks like it should be fast. I don't know if it will be. So, I've never used it. Its weaknesses, it doesn't stick out to have many major weaknesses. I mean, let me think. It has Fairy, it has Dragon, and it has Ice, standard Dragon weaknesses. But then it doesn't have a weakness to Water. It has a weakness to Ground, so maybe. But it doesn't have the double, quadruple weaknesses that Aurorus had. So, for now, I think it's a bit better than Aurorus. We'll have to eventually see. Alright, we're getting close to the number 1 spot on my list. Number 4 is the only new evolution of an old Pokemon from this generation, which is Sylveon. Now, if you watched my last video, I talked about how I had a concern that Sylveon was going to be the only one, and unfortunately, it is the only new evolution of an old Pokemon. Too bad. Sylveon still is a cool Pokemon, and I have one on my team. I've had one on my team since I got an Eevee, really, and evolved it. Its way of evolving is kind of unique. You have to do the Pokemon Ami, and then level it up when it's, like, really happy. So that's different. In terms of Sylveon itself, it's a monster in battle. Like, the Fairy type right now is very strong. I wouldn't go as far to say it's overpowered, but it definitely is strong. I get that they only wanted to give it poison weakness so that you don't have an alternative besides poison to use against it, because they wanted to make poison stronger. But this thing is pretty devastating. Especially once Sylveon learns, like at level 37, it learns Moonblast, which is like a 90, I think its power is like 90, and it can really take down a bunch of Pokemon. So, I have one on my team, and it's very strong, and not to mention that it is also quite cute. But, overpowered in terms of evolutions, it's a bit stronger than the average evolution. But I think Vaporeon was really strong. I think Espeon's really strong. So I don't see why, Sylveon's too overpowered. I like it. I think it's a great Pokemon, and I'm glad that they at least gave Eevee a new evolution. Dunsparce could have used one, but better than nothing, right? Alright, the number 3 spot on my list is another Dragon type, Noivern. Now, throughout the years of Pokemon, we've had a couple of bat Pokemon. We've got Zubat, who tortured us through all of the first 4 generations, and then we had, was it Woobat and Swoobat? the Psychic type bats, which I guess were an improvement on Zubat, but still were kind of not that great. Then we get Noibat and Noivern. First of all, unlike Zubat, they're actually very hard to find. I had a bad experience with Noibat because the first one that I tried to catch, I accidentally killed, or made it faint. And then the other one, the second one I tried to catch, used Whirlwind, because I threw out an underleveled Pokemon to try and not make it faint, and it used Whirlwind, and that was annoying. And so I was looking for a very long time, and eventually I did find a Noibat. You know, sure as, luck would have it, I got it, and then I decided that I'm not going to have a Noivern on my team. I have Noivern now, but I don't want him on my team. I'm going to replace Noivern with another Pokemon that you're going to be seeing very soon. So Noivern, in terms of its stats, its defenses are not that great. But it's very fast, it's got high special attack, and its design is awesome. I love this thing's design, because it's a bat, but it's got, like, the horned tail, and it's big, and it's a very strong Dragon type, and it's the strongest Pokemon on the Dragon Elite Four member team. So I really like it. I think it really looks cool in battle. So that's why it is all the way up at number 3 on my list. Right. The number 2 spot on this list is Delphox. Yes, I am putting a starter evolution on this list, but I've got to say I love Delphox. So when I first saw the starters, obviously Fennekin stood out to me, but I eventually realized that I liked Froakie a lot too. And then I saw Froakie's second evolution, and I was like, this is definitely what I'm choosing. And I had a plan to go with Froakie, and then choose Charmander, but then it all turned around when I saw the leaked third evolutions. Since then, Greninja has grown on me, but at the time, I did not like that thing. Delphox, it looked very predictable to me, but it didn't seem, bad. And, of course, we're not even going to talk about Chespin's final evolution. So, I ended up choosing Fennekin and Squirtle, and I don't regret it at all, because Fennekin's final evolution is a monster. That thing is a Psychic and Fire type, but unlike Victini, it's a powerhouse. Like, I can take down stuff, one-hit KOs with this thing, down, down, down. Because with its 2 types that are both used mainly for offense, it's really strong. Like, and its speed is not bad at all either. Plus, and this thing's really all around great. Its defenses, it can take some serious hits. Like, it can take, 3 super effective hits, and it'll be fine. Its special attacks through the roof. Its speed, it's faster, a lot faster than I expected. So, there's really no cons about this Pokemon. I love Delphox a lot, and I still have it on my team, and it's really strong. I love it. It's one of the Pokemon that I lead with in, online double battles along with Sylveon, and it's really great. I love Delphox a lot, and that's why it got all the way up here, even if it is a Pokemon that a lot of people have. So, we've reached the number 1 spot on my list, and this is a Pokemon that I really, really love. That Pokemon is Dragalge. Yes, I just named the evolution of Skrelp as my favorite Pokemon from Generation 6. There are a few reasons why. When I first saw Skrelp, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, a lot of people made fun of it, but I don't mind seahorses. I think seahorses are really cool. Kingdra is one of my favorite Pokemon. And then, I learned that it evolves into a dragon type. So yes, another weedy sea dragon type seahorse. But the difference of this one is that while its speed isn't that great, and forget stats. The thing I like about this is that it's a poison in dragon type. The first ever of its kind. With the poison type being suddenly needed with the inclusion of fairy type, this thing is really great to have. I am replacing Noivern with Dragalge, because Noivern is a flying and dragon type, which has quite a few weaknesses, and it's not that great. Dragalge, I mean, it has the poison type to beat fairies, and the dragon type, which is weak to fairy, but poison can deal with that. So, the dragon type can take down other things, and it gives it good defenses, because poison and dragon are both very good defensive types, So I really do like Algae. I think it's a great Pokemon, and it might eventually be the strongest Pokemon on my team. I like it. I think I'm going to use it a lot. I'm currently training a Skrelp, and eventually it will be a Algae. So yes, that is the #1 spot on my list. Skrelp's Evolution Algae. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I do plan on doing more top 10s in the future, and not so far future, actually. So be sure to subscribe, do whatever the heck you want, if you like the video. So, yeah, thanks for watching. See you later. Have fun playing X and Y.